folks, it's Coach Justin here from Max Value Nutrition and Fitness, coming to you from my garage where I just finished my workout for the day. Today, I want to talk to you about running your first mile. I think that running a mile is something that is easily accessible to a lot of people, and it is an excellent way to get fit, get in shape, and to feel good about yourself. It requires very little equipment, some running shoes and some skimpy short shorts, and you're good to go. So I could not run my first mile until I was 26 years old. I was never able to do it in high school during the presidential fitness test or anything like that. When as an adult, a buddy of mine who retired from the Army wanted to work out, and he ended every workout with a run. So he was the one who encouraged me to run my first mile. I thought that I was going to puke, but it felt so good that I kept doing it, kept running. I eventually trained. I ran my first 5K. Within my first year of running, ran 5K, 10K, a half marathon, and went on to run numerous ultra marathons, 2 marathons, 1 road marathon, 1 trail marathon, all the way up to 100K, so 62 miles. You don't have to take it that far, but honestly, just being able to run a mile feels really good. It's really good for your health, cardiovascularly. It's great conditioning, and it'll just make you feel good. So let's kick it off and get into everything that you need to know to run your first mile. So we're going to start off with some footwork. Footwork is going to serve as an excellent warm-up. It's also going to keep you injury-free and just make sure that your technique is on point as you get started running. These kind of things you're probably not going to do forever, but they're really helpful, especially in the first phase, maybe the first 3 or 4 weeks of your running journey until you build up to running that first mile or so. So first we're going to do squat drops. Just going to come up onto your toes and then drop down into a full squat position. This is going to train your hips and knees to receive the forces from running. Next up is toe taps. I've got a little medicine ball here, but anything that you can step up onto is fine. This just trains having nice fast feet that respond to the ground. Next we've got shuttle runs. A shuttle run is a fast-footed sideways run. This helps build ankle stability, keep you from rolling an ankle when you're out there on the roads. Finally, forward falls. You're going to start with your feet in line, bend forward at the ankles until you're forced to catch yourself, and then just start into a run. Okay, let's talk about intensity. We want these runs to be relatively effortless. There is a scientific and physiological reason for that, which we're not going to get into today. For the most part, you just want the runs to be fun. If you go out there and you feel like you're dying the whole time, most people are not willing to go out and engage in that activity a second time. So we do this by keeping our heart rate relatively low the whole time. There are lots of formulas out there to help you determine what a good heart rate is, and they're all going to give you a slightly different answer. They're all guessing. For the most part, you can just pick one and kind of stick with it. Consistency is more important than precision at this point. So I'm going to give you a basic formula that you can use to calculate your ideal training heart rate to get started. So to start with, we're going to take 180 and subtract your age in years. Next, if you've had any major health issues, injuries, or chronic ailments that have popped up in the past year, subtract an additional 5 from that number. Take that new total, and we're just going to add a little margin of error, so plus or minus 5 on either side of it. So for instance, I am 40 years old, so 180 minus 40 is 140. I've not had any health issues, injuries, or chronic ailments in the past year, so my number is somewhere between 135 and 145. So if you don't have a heart rate monitor, I put links to a few in the description of this video. If you're not interested in getting a heart rate monitor, that's okay. For the most part, you can just run at what we would call a conversational pace. So if you're running and you're able to talk without gasping for air, then that's a good sign that you're running at a conversational pace, and that's probably a good pace for you to get started and for you to try to maintain. You are finally ready to start running, so let's get to the plan. This is an 8-week plan designed to be run 3 days per week. Pick any 3 non-consecutive days to give yourself a little bit of recovery time in between. The days are split into work times, rest times, and the number of repeats. For the first week, you're going to run at your conversational pace for 30 seconds, followed by about 90 seconds of walking. Repeat this cycle 7 times. This is going to give you about 15 minutes total on the road. You see that as we progress, we shift to doing a little more work and doing a little less resting. Starting at week 5, we're going to keep the rest periods consistent and slowly build up our work time. By week 8, you should be running somewhere in the neighborhood of a half a mile uninterrupted and running for a total of about 30 minutes. So on your final day of week 8, go ahead and run your first mile. Don't worry about the time, just keep your heart rate low and have fun. It's important to resist the temptation to run too fast. If anyone's telling you that you're not running fast enough, remember, that person is an asshole and their opinion doesn't matter. You have your whole running career to get faster. Today, just enjoy running your first mile. So finally, let's talk about things you can do to support running and keep the rest of your body healthy and injury-free as you start on this journey. Running is really great for your hip flexors and for your calves, and kind of leaves your quads, your glutes, and your hamstrings in the dust. So we want to make sure that we're doing work to support our quads, our hamstrings, and our glutes, and then also some core work, because a little extra core strength is never a bad thing. So first we've got a body weight squat. Start with your feet about shoulder width apart. Push your butt back and just hinge down as deep as you can. Pause for a second and pop back up. Next we have a McGill curl up. So you're going to cross your leg over the opposite knee and do a slight curl. Bring your shoulders off the ground and just hold it at the top for about 3 seconds. I like to do 5 of these each side with its 3-second hold at the top. Next up, a single leg glute bridge. So one knee bent, keep the other leg straight, push into the floor and use your glute and your hamstring to pull that straight leg up. These can be pretty surprisingly challenging. One of my favorite moves here is a bird dog. You're going to start on all fours with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips, and just take your hand and the opposite leg and straighten them out. Hold them for a second. This gives you a really good stretch, really good activation of your whole posterior chain. And finally, clamshells. Laying on your side with your legs bent, knees together. Just open up your hips and give your butt a nice squeeze at the top there. You can do those with a band too, but you don't have to. All right, from here, the running world is really your oyster. You can use these principles to continue to build and run just about any distance you want. If you'd like to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're interested in coaching, drop me an email at jcheight@maxvaluenutrition.com. There's a link in the description. But other than that, get out there and get started. Thanks a lot.